So like they have been telling us this entire season, there was in fact an ending that has never happened before in Bachelor history, and it was a little bit different than what I think everybody was expecting it to be. So stay tuned until the end to find out what it was and my thoughts about it. I'm so excited for this video. I literally cannot wait any longer. I could not make this video fast enough, so let's just go ahead and dive in and give it a recap. And if you have not seen the episode yet, this video will be all about spoilers. So take about, 3 hours of your time and go watch the finale and come back here and let's talk about it. All right, so we start with the girls meeting Joey's family. We start with Daisy first, which I thought was a great sign. And it seems that Daisy's meeting with Joey's family and his sisters in specific goes extremely, extremely well. Without the sisters having to ask her, Daisy just kind of really opens up because she knows that this is her last chance, and she lets them know, hey, I love him and I haven't gotten a chance to tell him yet, but I wanted to let you know that that is how I feel about him because you guys deserve to know that I am all in. And then she also says, if he were to get down on one knee today, I would 100% say yes. And so the sisters, Joey's sisters were having like an emotional reaction to it. It was a very heartwarming moment. And then Daisy talks to his mom, and in this conversation, Joey's mom is basically like, I would love to get to call you my daughter-in-law. So I thought that was a really interesting take from her. Daisy's time with his family went super well. Joey seemed satisfied with it, and I literally, there was no doubt in my mind, that girl is the one for him. So then we cut to Kelsey's date with his family, and I feel like off the bat, it just was a little bit more awkward. The family had to the sisters in specific had to really pry information out of Kelsey and ask her, are you ready for what comes at the end of this? And Kelsey's answer was she really doesn't know. She doesn't know if she has a desired timeline. She doesn't know what that looks like, and she's not sure if she's ready. The sisters had grace for her in telling Joey, which I loved. They told Joey, this is what she said, but I think she said it because she was nervous, and I would be nervous too. So I really do applaud them for that. But Joey surprisingly did not seem phased about it whatsoever, which I was a little bit concerned by considering what happened last episode with the letter, and then this episode is getting to the end and he's scared that someone isn't going to choose him, and here she is saying she's unsure what this will look like. So I found that really interesting. So then we cut to the final dates. Once again, Daisy goes first. I just would like to have a conversation with the producers, but anyways, Daisy goes first, and her date is a little weird, y'all. Her date is a little weird. I would not have done that. They go to this hoodoo voodoo place to clear their minds, and I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I feel like it was kind of setting up Daisy for failure, because I don't think that, on a final date, you should have a date where the intention is to sit and think. You should have a date where the intention is to sit and talk. They had that date, and Joey was stone cold to this girl. Thank gosh that he had that kind of date with her, because I don't even think he'd be able to speak to her if he had any other sort of date. And so it cuts to the scene where they're throwing stones into the fire, and I think the symbolism was, make a wish or have a hope. Daisy starts crying a little bit, and Joey's like, are you okay? She's clearly not okay. She starts crying, and he's just he says something really weird. Oh, what was it? Here's what I want you to think about in this moment. I want you to be grateful for the time that we have had together. And I was like, what? What? So, of course, Daisy says that made her feel really uneasy. And then it goes to their dinner date later that night. And basically, Daisy is for the first time ever, she's telling Joey that she loves him. And there kind of was no affirmation received back from Joey whatsoever, which was really heart-wrenching. He was very calculated in the verbiage that he was using and how he was speaking to her. So there definitely was some weirdness going on, and Joey left, because the date was over. It cuts to Daisy, and she goes, it's not me. It's not me, I'm not the one. I think that Daisy's gonna leave. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the ending that everybody was talking about. She's gonna leave. And she doesn't, but we see Kelsey's date, and Kelsey gets a massage date. I won't say there was a bias, but And he talks to Kelsey more in 5 minutes of their date than he did Daisy the whole day before. So I knew his mind was made up, but it just was still like so gut-wrenching to watch. They had an amazing date. They had an amazing time together, and their dinner date, he was just super affirming to her, like, you were so great. I don't want you to ever doubt that. I don't want you to ever doubt how much I value you. At some point she was saying like she does have doubts that she's not going to get chosen, and he said something along the lines of, well, I don't want you to feel that way. Well, I don't want you to feel that way. So I don't think he realized how clear he was making his decision when filming was going on. But then we cut to Daisy, and she does something that has never been done before in Bachelor history. Normally the girls are separated and they don't get any time to interact with each other. So Daisy knocks on Kelsey's door, and everybody thought it was going to be Joey's, and basically sits down with her and is like, I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. He seemed off. Something is missing between me and Joey, and I think that it's you. And so Kelsey just hugged her and told her that she's sorry, and it was a very girl power slay queen moment, and I loved it in the show because I think what is so special about Joey's season is that this is really the first time that someone that they've chosen as the Bachelor has really taken like intentional steps to do this as correctly as possible, because there is no correct way to do this show because it is so like unnatural, I would say. But Joey really does take that step to do things to the best of his ability, and I think the girls too have had a love for each other that we haven't seen. Kelsey and Daisy sobbed when Daisy knocked on her door and Kelsey opened it. Kelsey was sobbing, Daisy was sobbing. They were just so happy to see each other, you know, in that high tension environment. So now it's engagement day, and we're still unsure if Daisy is going to leave or what is she going to do. So she keeps saying she has to do what's right for her. So we see a shot of Kelsey in the car, you know, driving to the engagement spot, alleged engagement spot, because they obviously don't actually know what's going to happen yet. And then the camera pans to Daisy in the same car, and then it shows them together. They're hand in hand, comforting each other in this moment, and they're in the car together on the way to the engagement spot. So whoever doesn't get picked is going to witness that happen to the other one. So that would be insane if there was any curveballs. But so Daisy goes first, and she lets Joey say his spiel on, you know, like how much he cares for her and how great she is and how special she is. And then she says hers, she says the same thing essentially, and she's like, I love you, but here's the thing, you are not going to choose me. And I think that was the most gut-wrenching line I've ever heard in my life. And Joey just starts to sob. You can tell this dude genuinely cared. Daisy's crying, he's crying, he really doesn't know what to do, and he's like, but I don't want this to make you question how special you are. And you could tell this was a hard decision for Joey. So she says, you've always wanted me to do what's best for me, so I'm going to do what's best for me. I'm going to go now. So he asks if he can walk her out, and she says, I think I need to do this on my own. And so Joey like kind of walks away after to the other side of the camera where all the producers are and stuff, and you can see he's really struggling with this. And then we see Daisy and Kelsey meet up after that. Kelsey obviously knows what just happened, and Daisy knows that she knows, and they just hugged, and Daisy was like, I just want you to know how proud I am of you and how happy I am for you, and your mom is looking down on you right now waiting for this moment, so like I'm rooting for you. Which I think we've never seen this has literally never happened before, where the two women interact this closely and this timely within the engagement. It was just an awesome thing to see. Not only was Daisy protecting herself in walking away, but she was also protecting Joey. Like, she knows that Joey didn't want to, you know, break up with her. She made the best decision that she could have made in that moment to do it herself. And it protected her, and it protected Joey, and it protected Kelsey. We obviously know that Kelsey's about to get engaged to Joey. So they get engaged, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. I think he could have picked a different ring, but that's just my opinion. And so, like, I don't have much to say about it because it's just like what you expect a Bachelor, you know, engagement to go like. It was perfect. It was beautiful. It was, the scenery was giving. It was everything you could have hoped for. But I was like disassociating watching it because I wanted it to be Daisy so bad. And not that I dislike Kelsey whatsoever. It's just like since the beginning of the season, I've been like team Daisy, team Daisy, team Daisy. Daisy gets a chance to talk at, I don't know what to call it, the tell-all, Let's just call it that. She is healed, she is happy, whatever, and then Joey and Kelsey come out and it's awesome. This is what you guys have all been waiting for. Let's talk about it. The Bachelorette. The whole time they keep saying, come back, and we're gonna, after this commercial break, and we're gonna tell you who the Bachelorette is. So there's one time where Jesse, the host, says that. He's like, all right, does everyone wanna know who the Bachelorette is? And everybody's like, yeah. And so he's like, Daisy, come on out. So everybody's like, Daisy, that is so awesome. What the heck? That is so awesome. Because, you know, everybody on Twitter and everything, Bachelor Nation wanted it to be Maria or Daisy. That was the top 2 picks for this season. And so he's like talking to Daisy. She doesn't really seem enthusiastic. And he's like, so like, are you ready to meet people? Are you ready to be in the dating game? And she says no. Like, she's like, I'm happy and I'm healthy and I'm confident and I just don't want that right now. And he's like, okay. See who the next Bachelorette is after this commercial break. So, number 1, I think this was super misleading and took away from whoever the Bachelorette was going to be. It took away from their plot line, because obviously what was happening here was that they were like capitalizing off the fact that people thought it was going to be Daisy, just to say that it wasn't. And I've heard that she's been offered the Bachelorette, but she like declined. So I get that that was supposed to be a visual depiction of that, but I just think it was unnecessary and I just didn't understand what was happening. Everybody was confused. So we come back and he's like, okay, we're gonna have Charity, last season's Bachelorette, come and hand the torch off to whoever the next Bachelorette is. So Charity's talking about this Bachelorette. She's bubbly, she's funny, she's awesome, da 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 da. And everybody's like, Maria, Maria. Like, everybody's like, Maria stands rise. Like, I definitely thought it was going to be Maria. They're building this up, they're building it up, and then they're like, Jen! And everybody was like, huh? Jen? What? And here's the thing, I feel bad for this girl because the internet really went off after they announced her, and I think it's just because they wanted you to think it was Maria so bad, which really took away from the plot line and the story that Jen could have had and the story she could have told whenever it was announced that she was the Bachelorette. And so everybody was just kind of shocked. Maria was mic'd up. There was just a lot of misleading things. So everybody was kind of confused, especially just because Jen didn't get a lot of screen time, and she just, I don't know if she was like a favorite of the season from an audience perspective. Like, of course she's beautiful, of course she's gonna do great. Jen's great, and I don't think the internet should be mean to her, but I do think the producers really did her dirty with the misleading and trying to make people think that it was Maria. Here's the thing. These shows are contingent on keeping the audience involved and listening to the audience. It's why The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are still going. It's why the franchise is still strong. And so it's like, if you know, I don't know when they picked Bachelorette, they probably already started filming, but it's like, if you know a whole group of people wants this certain person to be the Bachelorette, and you know it's gonna bring in good ratings and good views, it's like, just why not do it? I don't know if she was first pick, second pick, third pick. Like, I wanna know what happened. It just really came out of nowhere. But I love Jen. I think she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. She's funny, and it's going to be an awesome season. And I hope people can look past that to know that. All right, down in the comments below, why don't you let me know, who do you think should have been Bachelorette, and did Joey make the right decision? All right, thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and leave a like down below. I'll see you next week. Peace!